Today I want to talk about Oklahoma quarterbacks and Spencer Rattler and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kid folks? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about quarterback play at Oklahoma because to my mind, there have basically been just 6 great passing quarterbacks in Oklahoma history, and we can start basically at the turn of the century. And while you would include Kyler Murray in this particular conversation, you can understand in a minute why I just kind of throw him out. Because one of the things that I was interested in looking at was taking a look at what Spencer Rattler had done in his first season as a full-time starter compared to the other quarterbacks that I believe qualify for this conversation, being that first year that they were the starting quarterback, 1, the team was good enough to compete for a national championship. 2, you thrown at least 300 passes in that season, hopefully more. And 3, like 3,000 yards, right? So like, be that what it is. So I'm looking at this and I'm going through the numbers. So Jason White got 14 games in his first season as a full-time starter, 38, 46 in passing yards, 40 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions. That is the best first season among these quarterbacks not named Kyler Murray. Again, Kyler is a mutant, and Kyler only played the 1 year, which is the reason why I'm really not talking about him in this context, because I'm talking about the dudes and what they could do next year, because each one of these guys that I'm talking about, starting with Jason White, had a phenomenal sophomore, junior year. And usually those things were precursors, like how they did that first year was a precursor to how good they were going to be, because they had a great core around them and they were still developing in the offense, and the offense became theirs in year 2 as the starter. The next guy on the list is Sam Bradford. His first year, 2007, 14 games, 31-21 passing, and 36 touchdowns to just 8 picks, right? That is actually worse on a game-by-game basis than Rattler when we're talking about passing yardages per game, but not necessarily the TD ratio, right? I mean, we're basically looking at a, 6-to-1 ratio, touchdown to interception for Bradford, whereas we're looking for 4-to-1 Rattler, even with the other 3 games added on there, right? So Baker, 13 games, 3,700 yards, 36 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Basically a better version of Sam Bradford, game to game, pass per pass, but the end result was the same. And I would also remind you that Bradford also had DeMarco Murray and Jermaine Gresham, and we can go there. And Baker had Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine and Sterling Shepard and Nick Basquin and Dede Westbrook. Like, his 2017 years were stupid. Like, that 2017 year especially so. But like, at one point, it wasn't just that he was one of the best quarterbacks, not the best quarterback in college football. It was that his wide receiver was not just the best wide receiver in football. He had received more Heisman votes than anybody before Devontae Smith won the thing and after Desmond Howard won the thing. Landry Jones also figures into this. 13 games, 31-98 passing, then 26 touchdowns to 14 interceptions in his first year. And I think that first year is the reason why many people label him as kind of middling, when really, statistically talking, he's one of, if not the best quarterbacks of all time, and perhaps statistically the best quarterback to ever come through Oklahoma and have played an abundance of years. Again, for me, Kyler Murray is the greatest quarterback of all time at OU. But Rattler, 11 games, 3,000 yards, 3,031, 28 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions in a pandemic, right? With a true freshman wide receiver as his number 1 option because Charleston Rambo just did not have it to go, down to just 2 scholarship tailbacks, one of which is a true freshman in Seth McGowan, and the other is a guy in TJ Pledger who nobody was really sure carry the load, and kind of sort of showed us that he could do that in OU Texas, which is another game in which Rattler got the hook in the first half only to come back and lead Oklahoma to a win in quadruple overtime. And I believe as we go on talking about Rattler, that game's going to figure more into his legacy and how we talk about him going forward than any other game he plays outside of perhaps playing the college football playoff, playing a national championship game. But you have to come to understand that Rattler is a special talent, and I think putting him more into the vein of what Sam Bradford was able to do as opposed to what Baker was able to do is much more accurate. Though the moxie is there and the prodigious arm talent, we've never seen that before outside of, again, Kyler Murray. And even then you might make an argument that Rattler's just got more of a pistol whip than Kyler Murray. Though, again, like to watch Kyler Murray play football was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life as a football fan, because I never expected to get to see him play at OU. And then to become just the second player of all time to pass for 4,000 yards and rush for over 1,000 yards in a single season is just stupid. I think we're going to see not just Rattler's magic here, but probably his best year of football ever next year, because so many things are going to be working for him. It's a weak non-conference schedule. Nebraska is the toughest game on the non-con. They ain't any good, right? The tough team in the conference is Iowa State. The team that has had their number is Kansas State, right? One of my favorite facts right now is Chris Klieman is undefeated against Lincoln Riley, and Lincoln Riley has not made a habit of catching L's. You know what I mean? Like, this is a man who made the college football playoff in each of his first 3 years of being a head coach, and then won the Cotton Bowl and the year that he didn't. So there's a lot that we could say about Riley, but that he doesn't win ain't one of them. So I'm really interested about how this game is going to go when OU has to play K-State in conference. But Texas is going to be not as good as they want to be. I would even say, yes, you're rebuilding Texas. Deal with it. Texas Tech is not going to challenge in that way, even though I like Baron Morton and I do like the addition of Tyler Shuck. They just don't have the horses. Baylor's defense is going to be good, but its offense won't be because they're still trying to figure out who they are. Can't really bet against Gary Patterson in any function, but Gary Patterson only seems to get up to play the Texas teams, and particularly the University of Texas. And Max Duggan is still going to be throwing to Tay Barber, who is good, but not great. Quentin Johnson might be able to come on. We'll see what J.D. Spielman looks like, and I love Zach Evans, but they don't feed him the rock enough for me to actually think that he's going to be able to get this done. I just look around the conference, and I see a year in which Rattler could throw for 5,000 yards, given 14, 15 games to do it, and is probably going to average better than 300 yards passing a game this year after averaging just over 275, right? Now, the reason I looked at these numbers again is, what did the guys do after that? And each one of those years, save, a couple, those dudes go for 4,000 yards. Those dudes open up the offense. They see the game differently. They're just that much better. And I was just sitting here at my desk playing with numbers, and I wanted to give those to you because I thought it was worth pointing out because, again, we're in March, and everybody cares about the NFL draft. People care about March Madness. People care about the NBA. But here we are as I'm looking at, man, can we please get some football back on here? College football back on here, because this is the year that my team is supposed to go win a national championship. Please don't let me down in my first year, Fox. Doses.